Hi, I'm Dr. Jo Lynch. I'm a consultant clinical oncologist.
Hello, I'm Helen and I'm going to be asking Jo some questions about skin cancer.
So we're going to go through in a little bit more detail the sort of symptoms you should look out for with skin cancer and what the general principles of management are.
So Jo, if I was worried at all about anything on my skin, concerned that it might be cancer, what are the symptoms that I should be looking for?
Well, in terms of the symptoms of skin cancer, there's a huge range, and unfortunately no two skin cancers actually look the same. So I think the commonest thing that people worry about are moles. So there are certain features of a mole that you should watch out for. In particular, if the mole is over 6 millimeters in size, if it looks asymmetrical, or if there's a change in colour across the mole, if it looks irregular rather than having a smooth sort of border. And if it's changing, so if you're keeping an eye on it, if you think that it's growing, then those are all things that you should go and see your doctor about. But having said that, not all skin cancers are moles, and they can be sort of just red patches or plaques or look very scaly. And the one thing I say, tell people to watch out for in particular, if they bleed easily. So if you've got a spot on your face, many people think it's just a spot when skin cancers start out, but what I would say to watch out for if it bleeds easily, so if you're washing your face and something just bleeds on very light contact, that I would take as a warning sign. And again, if something is changing over time, so if it's not resolving and you think it's getting bigger, then I would certainly go and see your doctor about it.
And what happens when I go and see my doctor?
So when you go and see your doctor, you normally go and see your GP to start with. They will obviously look at the area of concern, they might measure it, they might photograph it, and your GP may well sort of feel happy to take a sample themselves, or they may feel happy to take the lesion off if they don't think that it's anything too serious, or they may feel that it's worth prescribing some creams. But if they are significantly concerned about it and they feel that you need to have a definite diagnosis and there's a strong suspicion of cancer, they will usually refer you on to somebody to actually take a sample of the skin to make a proper diagnosis. And the sort of people who do that may be a skin specialist, such as a dermatologist, but may also be a surgeon who specialises in the area where the skin problem has happened.
And what are the different types of skin cancer?
So there are lots of different types of skin cancer, but broadly we would classify them into melanomas. So those are typically the ones that present as moles, and non-melanomas. So they typically don't present as moles, but may present as the scaly red patches that we mentioned a minute ago. And
the treatments, as you say, are varied depending on what?
Yes, so depending on what type of skin cancer you have. So if you have there's concern that you might have a melanoma, then usually that will have to be removed completely with quite a wide margin. And then depending on what's found when we look at it under the microscope, it might be that you have to have further scans or perhaps some lymph nodes sampled as well to check that it hasn't spread anywhere. If it's not a melanoma, then again it can be excised by a surgeon, but also you can consider other treatments such as creams, which if it's very superficial may work, or else radiotherapy, which is a type of X-ray treatment which can work very well for lots of different types of skin cancer and has the advantage that it doesn't leave you with any scars.
Okay, and what would happen after treatment?
After treatment, you're followed up for a period of time. If it was a very minor skin cancer or not one that's thought to be dangerous or at risk of spreading, you'll usually be discharged once the treating doctor is happy that it has gone. If it's one that might be at a risk of spreading, then you'll usually be followed up for a period of time afterwards.
Okay, well, what can cause the different cancers, skin cancers? What are the main causes?
So I think everyone's sort of well aware that one of the main causes is sun exposure, and that remains the key one. I think the other one that perhaps people are less aware of is if your immune system isn't working properly, and that can happen as a result of a number of different reasons. But one of the reasons is if you're taking certain medications or drugs to treat conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, for example, that can dampen down your immune system. That can leave you at increased risk of developing skin cancers as well.
So is there anything that can be done to try to prevent the cancers?
So I think everyone's aware of the use of sun cream. So we usually advise a high factor sun cream of 50 or more, particularly if you are prone to burning rather than tanning. Wearing a hat, particularly to protect your scalp and ears, because these are places that people often forget can catch the sun quite easily. Also trying to avoid being out in the sun for long periods of time between the hours of 10 and 3 when it's at its strongest.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.